Hello, Namaskar, and welcome to another episode of Limitless Brain Lab. I'm Dr. Sweta Adatia, neurologist and your brain coach. Today's topic is going to be a little bit where you will have to think. You may need a pen and a paper, or you may need to really take some time out. Forgiveness. How often have you been hurt? The first question is how many people, and you may be a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, it really does not matter how many people have hurt you. Now, you may quickly, get the people's picture in your mind, but the reverse question is how many people you have hurt. This is also an equally important thing. And I'm going to talk about the neuroscience of forgiveness and then give you 5 simple steps, which is adopted from a beautiful 5-step to forgiveness by Professor Everett Worthington. It's a beautiful, beautiful step. We will talk about it. It will be within your reach. Forgiveness will be within your reach because you will be doing the technique of reach, REACH. So watch this video until the end because we will talk about how to break the circuits, how to make sure that the hurt is erased forever, and then you embrace forgiveness. Forgiveness seems to be a very easy thing when looking at it, at the first glance of it, but really deep within the brain's tracts, deep within the entire emotional system, there is a recorder, there is a looping mechanism which happens. All the hurts get stored with a very, very deep chemical, electrical, and structural changes. So anybody who has done anything wrong on you will be stored and registered, so much so because the brain wants to protect you. The brain wants to not have that second episode. For the brain, it's all about the comfort. For the brain, it is all about safety. For the brain, it is all about making sure that you are always protected. So in that protection mechanism, the brain will register it with a red flag. So it's like, for example, I'm having a lot of files here on my table. I'm trying to get rid of the files, and then suddenly a big red file comes in and says very important, urgent, necessary. That is how the brain will record it. Now, just go back to your childhood. Go really deep, 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 deep back to your childhood and start thinking about the people who would have hurt you. And very quickly you will realize that they're not going to be many people. They're going to be limited people and the people whom you would have loved or people who would have loved you. It would be generally within the friends, family, or your close relationship circle. Or it could be in a very, very setting of a commercial or a professional relationship where you would have a founder, co-founder, or similar such where you really closely work together. The expectation and the receipt, whatever you get, are always proportionate to each other, which means I expect from this particular person and I want to receive. So for the brain, the formula is equal. The moment what you receive is much, much, much lower than what you expect, there is a big rift and a divide. And the brain starts to mathematically evaluate that. And at certain point in time, it says that, oh, this person is not serving you anymore. And all the similar kind of things now start to irritate about the person. Now you start to feel uncomfortable in the relationship, etc. It's always the exact same drama for you, for me, for everybody. In fact, in my own life, I had a few relationships which I had to forgive, and it was a very, very difficult task. In the brain, there are 2 kinds of forgiveness. There is decisive forgiveness and emotional forgiveness. The decisive forgiveness is coming more from the rational cortex, more from the mature cortex, the frontal cortex, where it says that, hey, this was my expectation, this did not form, and you hurt me, and this XYZ thing happened, and I forgive you. It is like a clean and clear transaction when it comes to decisive forgiveness. But emotional forgiveness is a very difficult task because, as I said, it gets deeply registered, emotionally entrained. It becomes like a thick file bundle which is right there, allowing you to not move, allowing you to oftentimes also close your heart. The hurt now closes your heart. The moment you open the heart, the hurt even deepens. So it's always like a vicious cycle where you get trapped. It's like a whirlpool. But forgiveness creates miracles. The time you understand that the best way to actually come out of a strained relationship or a painful relationship or a toxic relationship is actually forgiving. The Ho'oponopo meditation is all about thank you, I love you, forgive me, and I love you. All the 4 words are very powerful in Ho'oponopo, and this has been a Hawaiian prayer. We will talk about the Ho'oponopo meditation, but I am going to put the beautiful meditation by Hari Om Smiles, Monica Singalji here, because people who have done this have seen remarkable changes. Our lab has been studying these meditations, and these are powerful frequencies to shift your brain. These are not small frequencies. So go ahead and do this if you are in such situation where you cannot forgive. So when I was in this situation and my brain wiring was not conducive to what I wanted emotional peace. I wanted emotional satisfaction. I wanted to be at ease with my own self. Now, oftentimes, this is another point to remember, that we do not forgive ourselves. We often keep the hurt for our own selves. My expectations, my ideology, my way of thinking, my way of doing, etc., and all get so much hardwired into our personalities that often it becomes the first difficult process. All the parents who are listening to this particular talk would now have a little bit of a glimpse of not forgiving themselves, all the guilt that comes in. Your child could not get enough time. You were busy engaged in having a toxic relationship. You could not figure out how to make the relationship work. And all that self-guilt, self-doubt, lack of belief, so many things gets compounded and lack of forgiveness happens. So how to break this loop? How to remove that hard wiring? It's like Control, Alter, Delete for good. You just get out of this. You open a new page. You become refreshed in life. And that can happen through these 5 powerful techniques called REACH. So R stands for recall that hurt. Very vividly, if it was way in the distant past, you don't want to keep those grudges. A locked brain with a lot of grudges only produces cortisol, the bad hormones, and it causes a chronic, slow, progressive stress which can lead to cancers, autoimmune conditions, metabolic conditions, atherosclerotic conditions. So it is always a good idea to drop that. It is always a good idea to repair that. So recall that hurt, go ahead and write it down. Writing is even more powerful because now we are reinforcing that circuit to the brain. The second one is empathize. Now this is extremely important. Pretending that the person is sitting in front of you and you are empathizing the entire thing and giving a benefit of doubt to that person. Saying that the situation could have gone wrong and that's why there was a wrongdoing by that person. Not easy, very difficult for the brain will resist it. But the harder the things that you do, the better your brain becomes at. And that is also the secret of neuroplasticity. It took me 3 years. It took me close to 900 days of misery and suffering until I was able to forgive. And once I understood and blocked this entire pathway, to my surprise, I did not have to bring in one particular person and a second person and a third person. All the relationships simultaneously got healed because that is the beauty of the brain. It is just about releasing that one knot. The C stands for committing. Commit that you want to forgive. Commitment to the forgiveness every single day. Spending 10 to 15 minutes of the time doing that exercise is extremely crucial. Holding on. H is for holding on to that forgiveness. Oftentimes, I make a decision, I commit, I will do it for a few days because now the brain wants to go back to the comfort zone. The brain is now in the effort zone. You have moved it. You want to remove that grudge. You want to stop that holding on, but the brain won't let you do that. So your idea is that you will hold on. So you will recall the hurt, you will empathize that hurt, and the A one, which we did not talk about, is the altruistic gift. I know some of you just said that you missed an A, but here comes the A. Altruistic gift is remember a time when somebody else forgiven you. You may have done something wrong and you did realize that it was a mistake on your part and you were quickly forgiven. How well you felt. Exactly the same way now imagine how that person is feeling. Just bringing that visualization, actually deeply feeling this entire context of recalling the hurt, empathizing it, altruistically gifting that forgiveness, actually making that commitment to forgive and then holding on to that forgiveness until this entire circuit is broken is a super easy process. which you can do it, and the moment you will start doing it for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, possibly even less than that, you will see some miraculous changes in the relationships. Why is Ho'oponopo prayer so popular? Because people have found results. In fact, in the energy field and sciences, your heart chakra opens up. The moment your lower 3 chakras and the upper 3 chakras are in between, guarded by this heart chakra. So if you talk to an energy expert, they would say that the moment your heart chakra opens up, the climbing of the energy, the descent, the ascent of energy, the way in which the energy goes up changes, and this can also mean a very good health and overall well-being, peace and happiness. So if you want to embrace this happiness, peace, bliss, go ahead and do the reach method, and then do reach out to us and tell us how was your experience. And please do share for the people who have been struggling, suffering. And hence I also spoke in my Jain class last time in one of the lectures that Michami Dukram, once in a year, just forgive everybody. If you are doing it mechanically, it is not going to change the pathway. You will have to do it empathetically, emotionally, with the deep context of it, with a very significant amount of meditation and prayers, and then only it will be a permanent shift in the brain. So do write to us. Please do not forget to collect this Reach booklet, which we will be posting at www.limitlessbrainacademy.com. Go ahead and do forgiveness meditation, which is also free on the academy, and do not forget to subscribe to our premium membership, because there we will be posting the Ho'oponopo, a very special, only specific meditation prepared for forgiveness, especially with the crafted frequencies only for you. So thank you so much for always talking to us and being with us on this journey of the Limitless Brain Lab. We want health, wealth and happiness for every single being on this planet. Thank you and namaskar.